You are Locked On Buffaloes Postcast, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Buff Nation, the end of the road, the end of what was such a fun season for the Colorado Buffaloes. Unfortunately, it ends on a low note as the CU Buffs end up losing tonight. Your final score, 36-14 here in the Alamo Bowl. What a frustrating way for the season end, but frankly, I've got my thoughts. We'll get into it here on tonight's Locked On Buffs Postcast, but real quick, tonight's Locked On Buffs Postcast is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Guys, the NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started. More from our friends over at FanDuel here in just a little bit. Hope everybody is doing well out there on your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Like I said, an unfortunate ending to the season for CU. So here's what I'm going to do on the show tonight. I think we're going to keep it sweet and short and to the point. We'll talk about the game here in the first segment, and then we'll do a little reminiscing here in the second segment, and then we'll get you guys on your way. Because, frankly, there's just not a whole lot to talk about from this game here tonight. And frankly, I don't think that this game here, this outcome tonight, I don't think it has any bearing on the overall success or failure of the Colorado Buffaloes this season. Because I think whichever way you slice it, the CU Buffs had an incredible year. 100%. They finished 9-4, doubled their win total from last year. They won 4 games last year. They were sensational in spurts this year. Couple of letdown spots, let's call it like we see it. That Kansas loss was brutal. Nebraska was brutal. But the body of work for the CU Buffs this year has been nothing short of phenomenal. And I'm satisfied as someone that talks about the Buffs for a living and covers the Buffs for a living. This season is everything you could ask for, I feel like, from a Coach Prime supporter. And I know the haters might be out tonight as the Colorado Buffaloes unfortunately losing the Alamo Bowl. Your final score tonight, 36-14. So we'll get into that throughout the course of the evening, of course. But I do think that tonight is an opportunity to reflect and reminisce on what has been an incredible season for the CU Buffs. The last opportunity we get to see Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders in the Heisman race. Hold on, I had the wrong background up. Sorry about that, folks, on YouTube. I forgot to change that before I started the show. I'm like, Travis Hunter, a favorite for Heisman. He already won the Heisman. But let's get into it. 36-14, your final score here tonight on your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button as well. Really appreciate all of your support throughout the course of the season, man. What a year it has been for CU. What a year it has been for your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Looking forward to doing it again next year. You still got Jordan Sean. You got Omarion Miller. You've got Draylon Miller. You got Coach Prime. You got Juju Lewis. Man, it's going to be a fun year next year, so buckle up. And like I said, I'll get into my thoughts there at the end of the show. But tonight, just really not a whole lot to write home about. The stats were completely skewed in favor of BYU. BYU finishes 22 first downs to CU's 9 here tonight. They outgained CU by over 100 yards. BYU put up a total of 331 yards of total offense. CU only 210. Although CU did outpass BYU, which is not surprising. We know that it's a passing offense here with the Colorado Buffaloes. They finished with 210 passing yards compared to just 331 for BYU. So you like to see that. That's a nice little takeaway. CU ran the ball. Any guesses on how many rushing yards CU had tonight? Anybody out there? Any guesses? 2. 1, 2. That was the amount of rushing yards that the Colorado Buffaloes had in their game here tonight against BYU. So it is what it is. Brandon, I see your comment here. This team was not prepared, and that's on the coaches. I'll get to that in a moment because I have my thoughts about how CU played tonight. I really play. I'm not going to plug there for a second. Sorry about that. I was saying, say what you want to say about their performance here tonight. This is a glorified vacation. It's a glorified vacation. The bowl games do not hold nearly as much weight as they once did in years past. And frankly, this is now the third time in a row that we've seen the Colorado Buffaloes struggle in the Alamo Bowl. Last time being in 2020, we saw it under Mike McIntyre. I mean, unfortunately, this has been a commonality for the CU Buffs. But I don't think, call me a homer, I don't think this loss here tonight takes away anything from what the Colorado Buffaloes were able to accomplish here tonight, despite them losing throughout the course of the season, with your final score being 36-14. So where I was at, 2 rushing yards for CU. They have got to figure out a way, man, whether it's in the portal. I know Dallin Hayden's supposed to transfer. He came in from Ohio State last year. Looks like he's going to get back in the portal. They have got to figure out a way to get some sort of rushing attack established for next year, especially, they got the 4-star transfer from Liberty coming in. They got Juju Lewis, who's probably going to sit for a year. They have got to figure out a way to get this rushing attack going, just to have a little bit more of a balanced attack, because right now, CU is a very unbalanced team. But I say that for right now, because next year it's going to be virtually a whole new roster, because you're losing your top 2 players in Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. So it is what it is. I mean, CU, man, it was not great here tonight. They complete 16 of 23 passes as Shedeur. BYU only passed the ball 23 times tonight as well. They were 12 for 23. CU had an average of 9.0 yards per attempt. 2 interceptions tonight for Shedeur, which is uncommon. He was beat up tonight. There is definitely, and here's the other thing. I'm stoked the fact that Coach Prime let Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders play throughout the entire game. They played the whole game. And that takes balls. That takes guts. I know that Travis and Shedeur both had their insurance policies, which was widely talked about across social media throughout the course of the week leading up to this game. But, they could have pulled the Christian McCaffrey. They could have pulled insert star player here and not played at all throughout this bowl game. They could have played the first half and sat out. They played the entire game. And I understand the outcome is not what Buff Nation wanted. 36-14, your final score. But that takes some stones to see Shedeur and Travis and Shiloh and Cam Silman and Craig, these guys that are going to the league next year, go out there and take the hits and play the full game despite it not going their way. Coach Prime could have easily yanked them. He said, you know what? We don't got it today, fellas. You're out. No. Because that's not what Coach Prime's about. That's not what Coach Prime is about. So like I said, man, it's a disappointing game tonight for CU. I mean, they got outscored. They were shut out in the first half. BYU scores 10 points in each of the first and the second quarter. Colorado then puts up a touchdown there in the third, touchdown in the fourth. That's essentially all she wrote. 7 points for BYU there in the third quarter, 9 points for them in the fourth. And that's how you get to your 36-14 final score here. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, tonight is a night of reminiscing. And I understand that that's not what the haters want to hear. I understand there's probably some haters out there that want to talk about, oh, you see, if CU would have played BYU in the Big 12 championship game, and they would have got smoked. It wouldn't have even been close. CU was never close to making the college football playoff. The reality situation is they lost to Kansas. That's the reality of the situation with this Colorado Buffaloes team. That loss to Kansas stuck a fork in them for their college football playoff hopes and their Big 12 championship game hopes. And I'll make this point when I come back from break. What Coach Prime did in his 2 years with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders is absolutely incredible. And that's what personally gets me excited for what is to come with this Colorado Buffaloes team for years to come. Because Coach Prime's saying they got their quarterback of the future. They've got some talent. They've got Omarion Miller. They've got Draylon Miller. They've got my guy, DJ McKinney. Shout out to the hoodie, my man, Finesse Way. Go ahead and check out that interview with DJ McKinney, my one-on-one with him on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel. If you're interested, great kid, high-level kid. Remember the name because he's going to make a name for himself in the NFL. Guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. But the reality of the situation is for tonight, disappointing. Disappointing. There's really nothing else you could say. It was a letdown for the Colorado Buffaloes, who are a 3-point betting favorite entering into this matchup tonight. That's the reality, right? It's black and white. They did not perform at the level in which we hoped they would, what some expected them to. I'm personally not surprised with the outcome. I'm personally not surprised, to be completely honest with you. Because I think a lot of these guys understand that there's more football to play next year. Some guys are going to the league. Some guys staying in college, whatever it might be. So that's why I'm choosing for tonight to look at this as kind of a reflection. Let's talk about the good times for the Colorado Buffaloes, because tonight was a non-competitive game. This was a bona fide vacation. It was a bona fide vacation. They got Miss Peggy to a bowl game. Check. Shedeur is going to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. We'll touch on that in a moment. Travis Hunter wins the Heisman Trophy. Check. There was nothing for CU to gain tangibly in this game. The only thing CU stood to gain in this game tonight was respect. And frankly, with the nature of college football and this mercenary style of college football that has taken over the sport, it doesn't surprise me tonight. So it is what it is. All right, let me hit my first break, guys. When we come back, we'll continue along the conversation. Stick with me, drop some comments, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be right back here on your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Back in a moment, folks. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. Because the NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins, folks. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It is absolutely thrilling. Overs, unders, money lines, spreads, they've got it all with our friends over at FanDuel. I know college football season is winding down. We still got some incredible bowl games. NBA action is heating up. NHL's in the thick of it. Baseball's right around the corner. We've got the NFL playoffs as well. Plenty of action to be had with our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook. And again, visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I say it all the time. Got my phone right here. I'm a big FanDuel user. It's my personal favorite sportsbook. I know it'll be yours too. What a dog water game tonight from the Denver Broncos, may I say. I did have some money on the Broncos. So maybe I'm a little salty. But how do you have a doink in overtime, score a late touchdown, have the ball twice in overtime, and don't figure out a way to win the game? Frustrating loss for the Denver Broncos. But you know what? On to the next. Be sure to check out our friends over at FanDuel, FanDuel.com/lockedon, and get that promo, $250 for new customers if your first $5 bet wins. Check out our friends over at FanDuel and let them know that Locked On Buffs sent you. All right. Welcome on back into your Locked On Buffaloes Postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. That way you guys never, ever, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Also hit that like button if you could do so kindly. I would appreciate that. I'm building this channel up brick by brick. Just hit your Locked On Broncos Postcast a couple hours ago. So if you want that content, check that out on the channel. Locked On Nuggets, Locked On Rockies, plenty of content here for all you Denver sports fans out there. But getting back to it, let's do some reminiscing. Let's have a good time here. Let's not, what is it? Don't cry because it happened, or, don't cry because it's over. Be happy because it happened, right? That's the saying, something like that. I asked my buddy Chase Howell this on the pregame show. We did our pregame show here live at number 38. What an incredible crowd, by the way, I may add. I mean, this place was absolutely jam-packed with Broncos and Buffs fans. So Denver's a sports city, man. It is an absolutely, positively sports city. The point that I wanted to make, though, because I know there's a lot of haters out there that are probably trying to poo-poo on CU because of their 36-14 loss tonight against BYU. My boy Danny Bailey, my executive producer at Mile High Sports, made a great point to me. Bill Belichick, who is now taking over as the head coach of the UNC Tar Heels. UNC was in a bowl game this year, right? Obviously, UNC wants to be better. They want to be competitive. They want to get the best coach of all time in NFL history. In Bill Belichick, they expect him to turn it around, try to make them competitive in the ACC, which could be had, right? You've got Miami, you've got Clemson, but, kind of open beyond that. Bill Belichick is inheriting a bowl caliber team. What did Coach Prime inherit? What did Coach Prime inherit? A one-win Colorado Buffaloes team that was the worst team in college football. That's what Coach Prime inherited. And what did he do in year one? 4 games. What did he do in year 2? 9 games in regards to wins for CU. If you don't believe in what Coach Prime is doing in Colorado and what he will do, he's lived up to every end of the bargain. He said he's bringing his bag and it's Louis. He brought his bag and it was Louis. They won double the amount of games, more than that, last year with their 4 wins. This year, they built upon their 4 wins and won 9. big-time wins against UCF, who I was told before the year was supposed to be one of the best teams in the Big 12. They beat down Oklahoma State. They beat down Baylor. Bad loss to Kansas State, bad loss to Kansas. They could not stick it against the teams from Kansas. But what Coach Prime and the CU Buffs have done this year, you know what they've done? They've laid the foundation for the future. They have laid the foundation for the future. I am thrilled about the overall trajectory of this football team. Because I think despite losing Shedeur, despite losing Travis, they've got a lot of talent, man. They got Jaheim Otis in the transfer portal from Alabama. Think about this. The Colorado Buffaloes are getting guys that played at Alabama to come to Colorado. That was not a possibility until Coach Prime came here. That's where we're at with the CU Buffs. And so, yes, it's disappointing that they lose tonight to BYU 36-14. It absolutely is. But again, I don't think this has any bearing on the overall trajectory of this CU Buffs team. And frankly, if you think it does, I think you're foolish. I think you're foolish. Because I think Coach Prime is coming in locked and loaded, ready to go with more Louis than you've ever seen next year. I think Colorado is going to be a darn good football team. I'm going to use this comment here as a bridge point to my next topic. Christopher says they were all about the hype and didn't take this game serious. He follows up here and says they got taken to the woodshed. 100%, Christopher. 100%. I'm not going to deny that whatsoever. Colorado got to work tonight. Colorado got to wax tonight. Let's not make any mistake about it. BYU was the better team from the moment the game started to the moment the game ended. Colorado did not have much of a chance with how this game was going. I'm not going to argue that one way or the other. But, I'm on social media. I'm seeing all the different players posting their social media pics. This was a bona fide vacation. This was about the lights. Colorado, the lights were a little bright tonight. They were a little bright. I don't think that their head was completely in the game. I mean, you saw Shedeur Sanders getting roughed up. But again, kudos to him. Kudos to Travis Hunter. Kudos to Cam Sillman-Craig for playing the entirety of the game. How many big-time players, even players that play for Penn State, the backup quarterback, we have seen big-time players on big-time teams opt out of their bowl games. We've seen that. We've seen them opt out of college football playoff games. And what did Coach Prime's guys do? They went out there and played. They didn't play well. They got waxed 36-14, but that deserves some respect. That deserves some nuts. They put their nuts on the table tonight. And they said, you know what? Yeah, you know what? We Travis, Shedeur, Cam, y'all could sit out if you want to, right? You're going to the league next year. Protect yourself. What did they do? They went out and played. They went out and played. And I get that the outcome was not exactly what Buff Nation was looking for, but they went out there tonight and they played. And to me, that deserves respect. And this season, like I've said a few times now, is nothing short of fantastic for Colorado. They finished as the 23rd ranked team in the nation, finished with that top 25 ranking, building upon that 4-win season from last year. How could you not be excited at what Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes are building at the moment? How could you not be? I think the only reason you can't be is if you have your blinders on, frankly. That's how I feel. But it is what it is. Tough loss tonight for CU. But I don't think it takes away anything from what they accomplished this season. Because, as I've said, if you're a regular listener of the Postcast, if you listen to me on the SCO Show on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel, I've always said, my buddy Chase and I, who's my co-host, we've talked about it. Last year, and frankly this year a little bit, was the appetizer. Not even. Last year was the cocktail hour. This year is the appetizer. Now we're getting to that main course. Where CU Buff fans in years past could expect, a 12-ounce sirloin for dinner. Oh, baby, they're getting that porterhouse. They're getting that filet mignon. I'm going to Fogo de Chao tomorrow for a buddy's birthday, so I'm thinking about steak. But this was all what Travis and Shedeur and Coach Prime have done in their first 2 years is bring legitimacy back to Colorado football. Again, a team that won one single game before Coach Prime became head coach. Buckle up, folks. Buckle up. It is going to be a fun season next year. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. So, all right, let's hit our final break. When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show. A couple of thoughts here on Travis Hunter, a couple of thoughts on Shedeur Sanders, and continuing to reminisce on what was an incredible season for the Colorado Buffaloes. Stick with me, folks. We'll be back here in just a moment. If you got some thoughts, you got some comments, go ahead and drop those. As I always like to say, I'm the host of the show, but you, the fans out there, are the ones that help me drive the show. Appreciate all of y'all. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, so that way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Buffs Postcast. But I'm Aniello Piro. Follow me on social at Media by AP. Back in just a moment. Put a bow on the show. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at Rocket Money. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you thought you forgot about or that you thought you were paying for twice? That definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was paying for. And Rocket Money has made it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. For me, one of the best features is their subscription tracker. I've used it to cancel services I wasn't using anymore, and I've already saved a ton. Plus, their goals feature, I've been able to automatically set aside money for my future. No more stressing about budgeting every month. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Buffs Postcast. Getting ready to finish it up here as the Colorado Buffaloes. I see Shedeur Sanders. I think that's Cameron Silman Craig with Coach Prime in between them doing their final post-game press conference. Probably the last time you'll see Shedeur and Dion doing a press conference together, frankly, at least in a professional setting. Obviously, you get your one-on-ones, your little scrums there here and again. But this was the last time we saw Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter wear the black and gold. And that's a little sad, It's been such a wild ride. I mean, Travis Hunter, man, can we talk about him for just a moment? I haven't talked about Travis Hunter hardly at all throughout the course of this show. What a player. And his name is being dragged through the mud right now because of his off-the-field issues with the girl and this and that. Didn't affect him tonight. What, he had a touchdown? Let's see his stats here real quick. Let's pull those up, shall we? Oh, he just led the team in receiving, 4 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown, an average of 26.5 yards per reception with a long 58. Light work for Travis Hunter. You got to think of it this way, too. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are locked to be both top 5 picks in the NFL draft. Shedeur's likely going number 1 at the New York Giants. We saw those cleats on display earlier today on social media. His blue and red cleats. If you haven't seen that, just Google Shedeur Sanders Giants cleats, and you'll find it. And Travis Hunter probably should be the number 1 overall pick, but probably won't be because the teams that are going to be picking 1 and 2 are going to need quarterbacks. And so that hurts Travis Hunter in that sense. But I don't think there's any question that Travis Hunter is the most talented player in the NFL draft. I really don't believe that. He is an absolute unicorn. He played both ways tonight, too. He didn't just play one or the other in a game that didn't matter for CU. Travis Hunter went out there, played the whole game, played both ways. I mean, what more could you possibly ask for from Travis Hunter? So it is what it is. But a couple of highlights here before we get out of here as we're winding down on our Locked On Buffs Postcast. Some of the highs for the Shedeur, Travis, Coach Prime era of Colorado football. My top 3. The win against TCU, the very first game of the Coach Prime era, where Coach Prime was foreshadowing what Travis Hunter would be. I don't know if y'all remember. Look this up, too, on YouTube. After the game, Colorado upsets TCU, who was in the national championship the year prior. And Coach Prime has a line where, if Travis catches 1 or 2 of those balls, the Heisman's in his crib chilling right now. Well, folks, where's the Heisman Trophy right now? Where's the Heisman Trophy? The Heisman Trophy is at Travis Hunter's crib chilling right now. That's foreshadowing. The second highlight for me, both of them being this year, the UCF win and the Baylor win. Because like I said earlier, UCF was projected to be one of, if not the best team in the Big 12. And they stumped them. I think they put up, 45 points? Was it like 45-14, I think was the final score for that game, if I remember correctly? And then Baylor, which was college football at its finest. Back and forth, overtime, controversial play, big play, boom, boom, boom. Travis Hunter doing his thing. I mean, there is just so much to look back on, and I'll close with this. I cannot wait, not only for what's to come for Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. I cannot wait for when that 30 for 30 comes out one day. And we're reminiscing on what these 2 years of Colorado Buffaloes football have been for Coach Prime and the Buffs. I'll end with that. A 36-14 final score tonight for CU in the Alamo Bowl, which has not treated them well over the years. That's 3 consecutive blowout losses now for CU. Sucks. I'll be the first to admit it. But if you don't believe that the future is bright for Coach Prime and this CU team, get your head checked, folks, because they're just getting started. They are just getting started. All right, that's it for me, folks. Follow me on social media at Media by AP. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. We'll talk to you next year on your Locked On Buffs Postcast. I'll be around. Locked On Nuggets, Locked On Broncos, Locked On Rockies. So make sure to subscribe to your Locked On Denver Sports YouTube channel. Buffs lose tonight, 36-14, your final score. Until next year, folks, enjoy your night.